Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, The Warden and the Paunch, where things have gotten a little sideways on us. This is not exactly where I was hoping to be at this point in the game, and then on top of that, on top of the men of Ostermark resurging in our lands, on top of the Kislevites uniting against us, we still have this problem. This guy, he dogs my every step. There is no way to escape him. Every time I think I'm safe, I turn around and bam! There he is, in his very intimidating pose. His balance must be incredible. Alright, so we need to solve this Bekoffen problem, and I think the way we're going to do it is probably an attempt at an ambush. It is very unfortunate that I did not estimate how much movement we would need to attack Dmitry Tsaryov's army correctly, but I'm right about that, right? Yeah, okay. The fact that we can see some red arrow when I mouse over his army means that it would take a second turn of movement. Sometimes you can hit things that are just beyond the edge of the little yellow line, because the yellow line is not actually a good indicator of how much movement distance you have. But what we can do here is we can just jump in some trees. Here we go. Ambush success chance 70%. We'll go into ambush mode right here. I'm going to say a thing in a second now. And I want you all to understand that I know that I'm setting myself up for one of the classic blunders, but the fact is that I think if Ozhag's ambush fails, if it gets seen through, and the Kislevites ride out to attack us with both of their armies combined, I'm pretty sure we can take them. I know that I thought that very thing yesterday. I am chronically incapable of learning, but I don't think that's the thing that's happening here. I think I'm right about this one. Because of course I would. Alright, what else do we need to do this turn? Gouger Legbiter should definitely mess with somebody. Is there 58% chance to kill that guy? There are characters in this army too, though, right? Actually, you know what? If he can get rid of that Witch Hunter, that would be lovely. And he has a slightly higher chance to do it. Yeah, go for that dude. Okay, excellent. So that guy's wounded for 5 turns. That's good enough for our purposes. It means he can't bother me right now. Let's get another bonus to our assassination success chance. Gouger is going to be the #1 man stabber in all of the land. You should probably just hang out up here. Keep an eye on this this Chaos Rebellion army. I'm hoping that they will take Prague for us. Alright, down here, let's see, what is most important? I guess Essen does need to get upgraded. We probably have to put up walls in both places, right? Let's get Essen's defenses going now, I guess. And money-making buildings, okay. I want to get a second army going again. I think we need a second army. It's too late in the campaign for us to only have one army. But, boy, we sure are still in a situation money-wise, huh? I mean, it's very orky. It's appropriate that the Greenskins have a harder time relying on passive income. That we need to be out here marauding and raiding and stuff. I am more than a little bit worried about Reichland and their confederations. Okay, they didn't see through our ambush, which is good news. Why? Chaos Army, why? Why is that the thing that you're doing? Interesting. The men of Ostermark are attacking the Kislevites. Why would they... Okay, I'm not going to argue with it. I'm happy that is happening. Alright, so now we jump this dude. He's just going to run away. Yeah, there's no way he stands and fights that. Well, we do need to take him down. His army is actually in pretty good shape. They're less wounded than I would like. His mortar crew is quite badly wounded. Alright, we can pick these guys up real easy. And then I think I'm going to take the replenishment. And we have to decide whether we want to go in on Dmitry Tsaryov right now. So, because Gouger successfully assassinated somebody last turn, he is exhausted for this turn. He's going to be real bad at hero actions. But I might still have him take a swing here, just because it would be really helpful if this worked. And the odds of him getting, failing so badly that he gets wounded are only 5%. I'll take that. Okay, wow, he hit the assassinate. That's awesome. Yes, he certainly does cause fear among men. Not quite as much as this dude, but a lot. Anyway, do we want to try for this? We have a pretty huge man advantage. I'm a little leery because of what happened in the last episode. But an army can only withdraw from combat once per turn. So if we attack them now, they do have to fight us. We want to... I'm not going to bother spending scrap here. Let's just murk these dudes. I think we can take this, and we can definitely get a better result from manual resolution here than we would from the auto-resolve. Or at least from what it is suggesting the auto-resolve result would be. We should put plus leadership on somebody. I guess maybe one of the... excuse me, one of the units of Skulkers? Yeah, let's do one of the units of Skulkers, because they tend to be further away from friendlies. When a unit is surrounded by enemies, they can sometimes get overwhelmed and end up running away real quick. So, this army has a fair amount of rifles in it, and the rifles are going to be dangerous for the giant. But, also, the giant is going to do some horrible, horrible things to anyone that he can catch here. So this will be a good example for us, a good chance to practice using this giant in combat. We need to take out that one mortar crew pretty quickly, and then obviously there's a lot of ranged fire focus on the the horse units that needs to occur. Oh, see, that time it didn't do it right. I wonder if it's because they're in a control group, and maybe I can't change their ordering now. Yeah. I wonder if I select them like this and then control group them. Okay, yeah. So the order they're selected in when you make them a control group is locked. There we go. We want to do that. We want to keep the orcs on the outer edge. So they put most of their healthier units on this side. I think we want to cant ourselves over this way a little bit to take maximum advantage of that. Yeah, that should work. I could probably get this out of the way. You guys, I think, will start over here. The intention of just falling in behind the enemy as they approach. You know, that thing I always do that sometimes works, because every once in a while I actually devote enough micro to doing it in a way that would be successful. Don't really know what I want to do with the trolls. I mean, we probably want the trolls on the other side, right? We don't want all of our stuff that's coming in for a flank on the same edge. I think that's probably fairly reasonable. Okay, let's do it like this. Keep people in the range of the leadership auras. Make sure we're pressing these buttons that jam more power into the reserve bar. And then, of course, watch out for opportunities to fire off brain bursters and stuff. Let's start the catapult focused on these dudes. And, of course, guard mode for the catapults. Very important. I'm going to have Azhag... Actually, I'm going to have a couple units of these guys try to sneak around the outside. I'm a little worried that these horses will accidentally get too close, so I'm going to try to bait them this way. Come on, you know you want to come after my lord. Nope, they've been revealed. Wow, he takes damage from ranged weapons very quickly. Alright, try that. They're close enough now that they are taking ranged fire. And this is probably a good time to start doing some stuff to them. So I might just try that. Let's try the brain burster right there. Let's see how well that does against these larger units. I'm going to have you two tilt this way. We want to make sure one of the units of night goblins is shooting at each of them, because obviously the poison debuff is pretty important. No, sorry, I meant to hold the whole group. Whole group should be in guard mode. Do not run forward. And then we'll move our melee up through them when it makes sense to do so. Do we want to... No, we probably don't want to charge with the trolls. The number of rifles they have here is very concerning for me. I hate it when the enemy builds their army in a way that's effective. It's a real bummer for me. I'm going to try something, though. So are these guys thinking that they're just going to... Alright, yeah, stop him right there. And then let's tear these guys up right now. Because it looks like they're going to give me the opportunity. And can we... That's the closest we can cast that. Okay, it still did the thing. Go quick. Alright, we got him tearing up over there. And one of the... I forgot that they have a lord who's on horseback. Figured we had enough time here to move up. So if you're wondering why I always put my ranged in front of my melee, it's pretty basic, making sure that the enemy ranged can't outrange you stuff. If you put your melee in front of your range, which is the more intuitive thing to do to stop melee charges, you make it so that the enemy ranged can shoot your melee before your ranged can shoot at the enemy ranged. Alright, if these guys are going to run right up like this... Honestly, the stone trolls can probably just weather the pistol fire. I just didn't want them to get too exposed to the rifles too early. And then these catapults should probably turn and start working on these other ranged units. And on this side, it looks like the giant can just wade in there. Now, these units with the spears are better against large units than they are against non-large units, but they're still tier 1 melee infantry against a giant, so I'm not too worried about it. We're going to have him start over here, but I'm not, like I'm saying, I think he's probably got it under control. So we'll do this. The Orc Arrow Boys will probably hold just fine for the moment. And it looks like that unit of Outriders that we Brainbursted did take an awful lot of damage. We don't actually know if it was due to the Brainburster or not, unfortunately, because I stopped paying attention. I'm going to have this guy fall back, and we're going to try to shoot some eye lasers over there. And then the Empire Knights, who were a huge problem for us last time, looks like they probably are already getting pretty broken down. I think we might even want to disengage. Yeah, we might not need this anymore. Let's have him ride out and cause some problems over there, actually. I think the Skulkers have this under control. Alright. Eye lasers. Brain burst. Okay, that's a fair amount of damage. Those are not super tough dudes. Get in there, don't get distracted. And now that their lord has fallen back, we can make sure let's make sure that this is going the way it's supposed to be going. Alright, that unit ran away. So I'm gonna keep these guys on that, but you guys should push over here. Azhag is kicking ass, exactly as we would expect. Let's try to get the pump wagons out of there. Because we've gotten a little bound up by the enemy spears. Yeah, the giant is doing horrible things to people. Did you guys get confused? I think they forgot what their orders were. Oh no, they're gonna get out of it. Okay, well, I mean, whatever. They're running away because they're terrified and they don't want to keep fighting, so I'm not too broken up about it. You guys get up here. We're in trouble getting those pump wagons extracted. So push, guys. If you keep mashing the move command, sometimes you can get high mass units to sort of wiggle themselves out of a group. Alright, Azhag is kind of doing his thing. He's doing it a little slower than I would like. Lot can run up here. Okay, the pump wagon's clear. We've got our wog. I mean, this is over already, right? Look at the giant. Look at the size of it. The size of this lad. Is he going to catch him? No, he's not going to catch him. If I thought he was likely to catch up... Oh, wait. He might be able to catch those guys. Let's just see him work a little bit, right? We paid an awful lot of money and time for this unit. He might not get them before they make it off the map, though. Alright. That's probably a little premature. Just look at him. How would you even fight a thing like that? Jesus! I shouldn't be allowed to have power like this. Oh, that one dude just exploded. Look at the pieces of him are all over. Oh. It's like eternal darkness in here. Okay, so we lost 221 men. That's fine. I don't think that's a big problem. That's probably 2 turns of replenishment, right? Like, our replenishment rate is nice and high now, so we can afford to take losses of that magnitude without really even flinching. And this leaves Kislev with no armies, right? We managed to destroy their entire armed force as far as we're aware, and then they have those Chaos Rebels right on the edge of their territory, and we've got them on the back foot, and Rachnic Spiderclaw came back from being wounded this turn. So we might want to just, like, hire him in this turn, and then, like, do whatever he can do with one turn of recruitment. Next turn, hire all those regiments of renown in, and just go and take Kislev. I do wish that we could see our replenishment rate prior to making this decision. My guess is, looking from the way this replenishes us, my guess is this is going to make it so we only need one turn of replenishment to be full strength. I'm going to take that. Alright, so even more followers. We are constantly accumulating followers. Let's definitely go back and get Earthing. I know we haven't actually been having him cast all that much because I like using the other guy. And now that Ozhag has a dragon, effectively, he's a lot of fun to use in melee combat. Let's pick up a boar. I think our dude is okay at fighting. The boar will make him better at charging people from the back, obviously, which is valuable. Beyond just killing your opponents, valuable for really reducing their morale. Okay, and then that gave us 6,600 gold. So obviously, upgrades over here are important, but if we're thinking we're going to put together an army and push Kislev right now, I suppose we have to prioritize this pretty highly. So let's get you in here. Let's recruit whatever we can recruit with only a single turn worth of standing still, because we do have places to be. We'll grab a rock lobber. Should we grab a second rock lobber? Maybe. And then also, what are we gonna... We're gonna get mostly like special type units from this, right? Oh, I guess you don't really need the second rock lobber necessarily, because we'll just grab that one. So I think we're gonna try to grab mostly kind of normal infantry. Unfortunately, Biggins take 2 turns to recruit. Yeah, let's just get some real basic stuff. Let's get some of these. And maybe a unit of Night Goblin Fanatics. These guys have the Night Goblin special attack of spinning loons. Some of the Night Goblins are hurled forward. If you've seen us play goblins in Blood Bowl, you'll be familiar with the strategy. So that leaves us with an awful lot of money next turn. Yeah, I think we don't want to push it too hard here. We do want to refresh this. We don't want to push it too hard on spending here, though, because we want to have a lot of money left for next turn so that we can be reasonably guaranteed we will get all the hires we're looking for. Alright, so what is the sneaky, what is the Little Wog spell that we want most? We have an eye laser that seems to be a pretty standard magic missile attack. Itchy Nuisance is really a lot of reduction in the opponent's ability to kill you. And this is a dramatic reduction in speed, which I don't think is as necessary. Itchy Nuisance seems quite good. Let's get that. Alright, so next turn, Rachnic Spiderclaw recruits some stuff and starts running. It's going to take us 2 turns of movement to get to Kislev, but we got to start moving next turn. I guess, I was going to say maybe we want to wait until the Wog, but no, the Wog is so far off. I don't know who we will declare Wog against when the time comes, but it's probably not. It's not worth waiting for it to be them. Oh, that's right, we already got our defensive alliance with you. I probably don't actually want our military situation with them to get any stronger. Military alliance is risky for a bunch of reasons. We might eventually want it because of what it does for our objectives, but for now, I think we're cool. So keep in mind, that big list of world capitals that we have to control, we don't have to directly control them. They count as ours for the purpose of that objective if they are held by a faction that we are in a military alliance with. So we can, at some point, get a military alliance with the von Karsteins, and that'll effectively give us control of Castle Drakenhof, which they have, which is on the list. But like I'm saying, I don't want this to be our first plan. I don't like the way that that Chaos Army is just protecting Kislev at this point. That's super annoying. I mean, it's a rebel army, so they're at war with everybody. They don't like anyone. But they're supposed to be attacking... They're supposed to be focusing their anger on the faction that they're rebelling against, right? That would make some sense. And that is very clearly not what is happening here. What does Stalker do? Extra campaign line of sight? You know what, actually... That sounds lovely. Extra line of sight on the map seems real good. So, we can move this army in over here and start raiding. You know how I love a good raid. And then we'll move you to the edge of our territory. You will just grab everything that is in the Regiment of Renown pool. Oh hey, we did a mission, apparently. And it was exactly all of our money. We didn't get to recruit this Goblin Wolf Chariot. So I didn't leave us quite enough cash. And then March mode. So in case you were wondering, hey, why does he feel like he's going to need so much money? That's that right there. That's the answer to your question. We should probably have you keep an eye on Prague. Okay, Prague is being sieged by a Norskin faction, so that works out just fine for us. So it's just going to be a matter of actually taking Kislev and defeating the Chaos Army that for some reason is defending it with all their might. And Gouger just keeps an eye on what's going on over here. Where'd that vampire army go? Josephine zu Bissendorf is walking across our territory. You can see the red swirly thing going on here indicates that she is in the wrong type of... the area she's in has the wrong type of corruption. So we haven't really talked about this system yet, but to go over it real briefly. There are 4 different types of corruption. Chaos, Vampiric, Skaven, and Untainted. Untainted is named in such a way that it would suggest that it is somehow different or like it's the absence of corruption, but that's not the case. It is a type of corruption. It works exactly like all the others. It just has a different name. Each faction has a preferred corruption type. And if you have an army standing in a land that has a different type of corruption than your preferred type, they will take attrition damage. If you have a settlement that is in a territory that has a different type of, a different type of corruption than your preferred corruption, you suffer significant public order penalties. So you can see right here, we are taking -7 obedience from the level of vampiric corruption that is present in our territory, and it's only going to get worse. Because there are 5 points of Untainted and 5 points of Vampiric, obviously it's going to trend toward 50% of each, and at 50% Vampiric corruption, we're going to be like over 10 points of negative obedience, so we are going to have to counter that somehow. There are buildings we can build that will give us more Untainted. It's a solvable problem, but it is a problem that we do have to solve. Alright, so we don't have the money to go after Oglock. We can pick this up. Plus 10 armor-piercing weapon damage for Black Orcs is actually phenomenal. That seems really, really good. And we're about to start using Black Orcs. So I think that's a reasonable thing for us to apply a whole bunch of scrap to. So this province here, it's Kislev, Fort Jakova, and Zavastra, right? That's going to be a little awkward. It's going to be tough for us to get the whole province and apply that commandment. Now, it would be really cool for us if the vampires would do some good work against Reichland here. I don't know if I think that they're really equipped to do that. Is that Chaos Army really just going to attack the Orcs again? It is. It's just pushing them off. It's making sure that they can't possibly threaten Kislev. Why, man? What is wrong with you guys? Alright. Lord Recruit rank up, not so good. Lads, on the other hand, pretty good. A thing we are definitely eager to have. Alright, let's go cause some problems. So we can't get into reinforcement range with normal walking, but we'll have to march over there, which is a shame, because that means the reinforcements will show up tired. But at least they'll be able to participate. An army in march mode can't declare its own battles, but it can serve as reinforcements for an army that does things in non-march mode. Why am I having such a hard time? There we go. So it looks like we're going to have to run Lothar off. I guess we could just attack Kislev first and worry about this Lothar situation afterward. Alright, so even with all of these reinforcements, we're not being given great odds here. And I'm not going to lie, it looks a little ugly. They have some very elite infantry here. Anti-infantry with 95 armor and a significant amount of armor-piercing damage. And then they have a lot of ranged units that will be good at defending the walls, but they also have a lot of cavalry units, which are just kind of garbage in a siege, generally speaking. They do have some mortars. There's no guarantee that they'll use them intelligently. We can take this. We can definitely do this. We could have waited and tried to build a ram or something to help out, but if we went for that, we would absolutely have to kill the Chaos Army first, and I'd much rather take Kislev and then worry about the Chaos dudes afterward. I don't want to weaken us before the Battle of Kislev, which is going to be the hard part of this. And there's a chance that that Chaos Army will just despawn. I guess it depends on what settlement they're actually rebelling against. I would have thought that it was Prague, given that they started up in Prague, but if that's the case, they wouldn't... I don't think they would have run down to defend Kislev. Alright, so our reinforcement army's coming in over here. That makes me want to set up our main army on this side, because I want all of the defenders to set up over here so that our reinforcements have plenty of time to approach. So, given the way things have, the way the towers on this wall are built, we don't really have a safe spot where we can set up. It looks like there's a gap in coverage here, but these two towers on the corner will have unusually wide firing arcs so that they can hit things over here. So we're just going to set up over by this wall so that we're only taking fire from two of the towers, and we're just going to push them really, really hard. So we have a couple of options here. We could send the giants and the trolls in to smash the gate right away. I don't think that's a good idea, probably, because that lets them bring their cavalry into the fight in a meaningful way. If we keep the fight mostly on the walls, I think it advantages us pretty significantly. So we're just going to put stuff right here. There will come a time when it is appropriate to push through the gate. It is not right away. And then, oh yeah, characters. It doesn't really matter where the characters go. Okay. Let's start it like this. Let's make sure we press our Get More Magics buttons. We'll need to make sure we are getting more magics. And then, how do we actually want to... I mean, we just want to shove biggins up on the wall, right? Archers are going to have a really hard time fighting these guys. Those enemy greatsword units will be more of an issue. I don't even see them. These are the normal swordsmen. Okay, the greatswords are like way back in reserve. These mortars are going to be a problem, and there's unfortunately not a huge amount we can do about that. I'm gonna try something with Ozhag. Let's make sure that we have all of our orcs pressing the walls as quickly as possible, though, and the goblins should follow up, but don't get too close. I'd like them to stay hidden, if possible. And then our own archers can move up and get into firing range, and I'm going to keep a lot of our other stuff way back here. Catapults probably don't need explicit orders. They'll figure it out. Alright, I'm going to try to have Ozhag fly over and just drop... Oh, no, there's so many ranged units in here. Never mind. I was going to say fly over and just, like, drop the Purple Sun of Xerius on top of the siege crews, but I think we might just have to endure an awful lot of ranged fire. Fortunately, keep in mind, we have a plan here. I'm going to move Ozhag over so he's only in the firing range of one of the towers at least. We do have a secondary plan, which is all of these guys pressing this gate. Now, we have a lot of cavalry in this army, and that is a shame, because cavalry is real bad on this side. But I think we are going to press the enemy gate over here. And remember, we do have two catapult units. Wait, who's operating this? So this is a thing that happens sometimes with the AI. You can see the tower has this little box on the wall behind it that's highlighted. In order to have the tower firing, you have to have a unit in the control box in order to do that thing. But the AI gets their towers to fire for free all the time. Like this unit is spread out enough that it's occupying both towers, which is a little frustrating. So, what do we want to do with these two catapults? We could try to destroy a tower with them. It would take a lot of fire, and it might not be worth the time. It might be better to just bombard the enemy unit on the walls. I think I'm going to do that. Destroying a tower is usually a lot slower than just killing the units that are operating the tower. It depends on what kind of siege stuff you have. Some siege units are, like cannon-type siege units, are way better at it than catapults are. I think we're going to have these guys just rush that wall, too. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to have to break the wall on this side, I think, just because that's... Or break the gate, just because we have so much cavalry in this army. We need to get them into the fight. And I'm hoping that will draw the attention of some of the cavalry away from the center. And if they move their cavalry away from the center and this side, then we'll rush this gate with our big dudes. All right. Now that the enemy is committing some forces here, now that they're paying attention to somebody else, let's run Azhag up, because he's going to be a very important part of murdering the dudes on the walls. I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't the only thing they had to focus on. Alright, go forth and murder. Okay, they are still traveling. They slowed down on account of all the fire. So it is unfortunate the units that go first in a situation like this just sustain really heavy losses. That's what happens when you're fighting a walled settlement. That's what the walls are for. We'll go ahead and overcast a purple sun, just kind of into the middle of the enemy grouping here. Remember, vortex spells wander randomly, so you don't want to cast them at the edges of the enemy formation, because there's no way to guarantee which direction they'll go in. Okay, this one's doing some okay work. It's not as much damage as I would like. Give him one of those. Yeah, very, very minor damage. Alright, just stay in, keep doing work. Alright, the trolls will have some time to regenerate as they beat on the gate there. We're starting to get units approaching the wall. You guys should probably like get over here, just like to a position where you are harder to shoot. Hold on, we have guys just stopping. Why are we just stopping? You get up there, you get here? Why are the ladders appearing over there? Because it's like, well, you already have units assigned to climb here, but I also already assigned these units to climb somewhere, so what the hell is the holdup? Alright, we have drawn off a fair amount of the enemy infantry over to this side, which means that we are going to have a slightly easier time than might otherwise be expected over here, which is good, because as you can see, you sustained an awful lot of damage during the initial running up to the walls phase. This is what siege towers are for. Siege towers allow you to make this advance very safely, and then they also allow you to not have to spend vigor to climb the walls. The siege towers give you a free ride up the wall, which is pretty great. They're super useful. The fact that I don't build siege gear all that often should not be taken as me saying that the siege units are bad. It's just that you almost never want to spend the time building them. It's very, very rarely worth it. Let's have Azhag focus on these great swords, because these are definitely the biggest threat to him. Okay. So we broke open the gate on the other side. Before we go over there, let me do one of these. Real quick reduction to the enemy's ability to fight. And this, I think, is this where we start pressing the gate? I guess let's wait and see if they actually do commit cavalry over here. But now that we have the gate open, all of these cavalry-type units that otherwise were not able to participate in the battle can surge through the gate, and we can figure out exactly what it is we want to do with them later. Probably, it's mostly going to be rushing the mortar crews and getting shot to pieces by the gunners. It's not a glamorous job. Rachnik should definitely go through with them, because the spiderlings could be really helpful on this. And then we didn't miss anybody, right? Yeah, okay. Our catapults are probably going to want to move up a little bit now. Also, I'm really surprised at how slowly we're getting up this wall. I feel like we've been over there looking at the combat that's happening on the other wall for quite some time. I guess I just paused too much. is probably a thing that some of you are shouting. Alright, can we get... Yes, you are close enough to get one of these going. You know what? Let's do it right here. Let's catch these units that are grouped up by the door. Alright, now we do have to keep an eye on Azhag, because we know his melee defense is a little bit low. I do not want to come back over here and surprise he's been murdered by greatswords. It looks like the greatswords, based on the way the health pools are going, the greatswords are maybe focused on these big uns at the moment. Alright, press them, guys. Should probably stand outside of that. And then we should continue harassing the units on the ground. Okay, that killed something. And we're going to have to come down there at some point, right? Alright, how's this going? Looks like... Okay, they're starting to move cavalry over in this direction. So what do we have in first? Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. These are pretty anti-infantry, right? Yeah, they have a pretty big... They still have a lot of armor-piercing damage. Honestly, these don't seem like bad units at all. They have poison attacks. They're immune to fear. They do not have a lot of armor. I think probably the way we really want to open up this charge is actually with the Spiderlings, right? We want to let the Spiderlings get in here. Yeah, just summon them as far forward as you can summon them right now. And where's that unit of trolls? They're still... Did I forget to tell them to run in? Because they should absolutely run in. Okay, there's like no summon time on that at all. They just appear. So let's grab this whole cavalry part of the army and give them some good old-fashioned charging orders. Whoa, people are being hurled off the wall by some... Oh, probably by artillery fire. Alright, we still have night goblins charging up there. Alright, if we can get rid of the siege crew, obviously, it'll be very helpful. You guys need to run in. We gotta press these dudes from both sides. No respite. And make sure we are continuing to use our spells. Okay, that killed a couple. Logs up. I think I'm gonna save... We're not gonna Purple Sun again. So these guys are not grouped up tightly enough for it, and we can't Purple Sun the wall. Vortex spells generally do not allow you to do that. Alright, I think we're in a place here where the Skulkers can start climbing the wall, and now that the enemy is responding to what's happening on the other side of the map, let's press the gate. The gate's open right now, but obviously we can't trust that. It will not remain the case. Alright, I do think we could probably Brainburster. Can I Brainburster on the wall? Yes, I totally can. Excellent. Alright. It'll be fine for Azhag to get hit by this. He has a lot of health. Okay, so they're massing up. The great... I would say in a straight-up fight, I would expect a unit of greatswords to probably beat a single unit of biggins. Maybe that's not reasonable, but I do not think that they will win in this situation they're in on the wall. I think things are a little unbalanced in our favor. So these units are going to have a hard time even contributing to the fight against these swordsmen. I think these guys probably come down off the wall and start pressing something over here. Yeah, get down and we'll see. Okay, and you lot have done a fine job against those cannon crews, so I guess just press up here on these outriders. I'm going to pull the pump wagon back. So you can see here, this is the control point in the middle of town. If we take this away from them, first of all, we get to steal their defender bonus, their leadership bonus, and secondly, their number of victory points remaining will start ticking down rapidly. If this ever hits 0, their whole army gets a huge leadership penalty, and basically, it pretty much always causes an immediate rout. I've never seen an army stand through that for very long. So, yep, that was a pretty good that was a pretty good brainburster. Honestly, Azhag is Azhag seems like he's just way better when he's how much did his melee defense increase? It's only 37. I mean, it's higher, but it's not that much higher. I'm surprised by the degree to which he has gotten better at withstanding combat with enemies directly on top of him. You guys, also, get over here and help me kill these outriders. Alright, Rachnic Spiderclaw has done some fine work. I'm going to tell a unit or two to get off the wall. I think we can press these dudes. So you can see their victory points are now ticking down. I forgot to have him keep moving forward. We should absolutely have spiders over here. Those guys, because they can actually shoot back. And our melee don't really need to stay engaged on the wall up there. We could have them run down, but I don't know that it's worth our effort to to give them the orders. Alright, we control the gate. Actually, we have enough units in the gate control box that we didn't have to break it open. We can just open it. We have the controls. Alright, so those guys are all given up. I think we got him. Yeah, that went pretty cleanly. I do love to execute this this press the corner fort from two sides strategy. Usually very effective. You have to expect to lose units in a thing like that, in an assault against a city with walls and two units of mortars and a 20-unit garrison. But to be perfectly honest with you, I'm surprised at how few losses it looks like we took. It's only one unit that might be dead. And there's a little bit of green in that bar. They might even have survived. And then I wasn't tracking losses too closely on Rechnik's side, but it seemed like his guys were mostly fine. Injured, but not in a way that's going to cause them to disband or anything. So now, if this Chaos Army wants to get vengeance against us, it's going to have to fight a pretty superior force. That said, they'll probably still try. My guess is they will still try. Alright, yeah, so that unit did actually die out. Over here on this side, everything's fine. Catapults took a lot of fire from the walls. I feel pretty okay about that outcome. So, wow, that's 32,000 gold. Well, I mean, obviously we have to do that. That's not an option we can ignore. Okay, now occupy it. So we got ourselves some of those good units, regiments of renown. And now what? Now we got all of the magic we really desperately needed. We should probably start working on this stuff. His unique line. I probably have had access to this for quite some time. We were taking important things, alright? So upkeep reduction for all Orc and Biggins infantry and cavalry units in his army. That's a very significant reduction as well. Also, Frenzy. Frenzy's pretty good. So this Frenzy ability that we've just added gives everybody a bunch of melee attack and charge bonus and weapon damage. I tunnel visioned a little bit on the magic because I really like the magic. Probably it was appropriate to take that skill point as soon as it became available because, man, that's a big bonus. Alright, you should start grabbing... we definitely need Earthing, and then he'll go back and get the rest of the spells in his School of Magic. And let's make sure you guys are... don't... There we go. I just wanted to make sure they're as close as possible to the cities. There's no way the Chaos Army could attack them alone. And then, do I want to just grab... I kind of want to just grab some of these units just so that our standing army is as tough as possible. His army's not very on theme right now, but I just... The Chaos Army that we are facing here, that might try stuff with us, is not trivial. A Hell Cannon is a very powerful siege artillery unit, and then they have a lot of very heavily armored, very, very strong infantry here. You can see 100 armor with 31 attack, 39 defense. Fortunately, these Chaos Warriors with halberds are maybe not ideal against our army. They'll be good against the trolls and the giant, of course. Alright, let me see if I can help you out with this. I see what you're going for. Can I damage the settlement? No, I can't. Gouger Legbiter is an expert assassin, but he can't actually harm, like, military units, unfortunately. Well, I can try to make it harder for them to run from you? Boy, that's not gonna work. I'll scout ahead. Moving. Okay, Ostland still exists. It's still independent. Which is probably a good sign for us. We don't really want Reichland any stronger than it already is. Do we want to upgrade these growth buildings? So we only have a couple levels of growth left to pursue. How expensive is it? Yeah, you know what? It's probably worth it. And the 3rd level upgrade is 1,700. We have the money. It's fine. Let's go ahead and upgrade that as well. Is there anything else that needs doing? Oh, we are one turn away from having enough population to max this out. So I think at this point, I'm going to remove the growth building from Karak Raziak. We'll turn that into, I don't know what else, but something else. And over here in Karak Kadrin, we can push you up to max level. So I'm going to pull all the growth buildings here as well. We might leave the one in Peak Pass for the replenishment rate. No, you know what? Actually, no. Maybe we do want to keep them because right, this is still the front right here. This mountain pass is still important. I believe the replenishment rate applies to the whole province, not just the region that building is in. So yeah, we'll keep this one for the extra 4% replenishment, but we'll turn these into something a little bit more useful. And we may as well upgrade that as well. You can go through a lot of money really quickly when you are building infrastructure. Alright, and then here in Kislev, let's repair this thing. You know what? Go ahead and repair the money-making building. We'll keep that around. Do I want this siege workshop? Do we need a siege workshop here? Because, like, it would be 3,000 gold to repair it, or we could just tear it down and replace it with something else. But if we do actually want a siege workshop, it's way cheaper to repair this one than it is to tear it down and then rebuild it. I'm gonna just demolish it, I think. The cavalry building, probably the same. Do we have one of those here? We do. Yeah, I don't know exactly what we want from Kislev, but it's probably not that stuff. And then we'll... Yeah, Beast Layer upgrade, that seems fine. And... this might actually be a good place to put Raiden stashes. We're probably going to have a lot of units running through this area, probably for the rest of the game, to be perfectly honest with you, because the Chaos invasions and stuff. I think that's pretty sensible. We spent all of that money. Can you interfere with these guys at all? You can hinder their replenishment. Well, that's not going to help. Then again, there's not a lot he can do over here. He could try to take on the terrifying David. All right, buddy. I apologize in advance for what is probably going to happen to you here. He has failed. No one can defeat terrifying David. He's unstoppable. That's what the Y is. The reason his name is spelled with a Y is because the Y stands for terrifying. The fact that it stands for a letter that's in the middle of the word is just part of his terrifying mystique. Because you're saying, well, when I abbreviate stuff, I always use the first letter. Yeah, but that's where he's from. Things are subtly wrong. They form their acronyms from the middles of words. They stand on horseback. They eat cheeseburgers, which doesn't sound weird, but they hold them upside down when they do it, so the top bun's on the bottom, and it's just very creepy. These guys would like 200 gold to join my war against Kislev. You know what? I will give you that. I don't think that it actually helps us for them to join the war against Kislev. I don't think they're going to provide any benefit here, but fighting Kislev together, the fact that we now have a common enemy, will give us more positive reputation with them. This is a good way of manipulating the system. So capture and occupy a settlement belonging to any of the enemies of the Bloody Spears. This means Jufbar or Clan Eshin, which is a bunch of Skaven, for 10 relation points with the Bloody Spears. That's an awful lot of walking for a very small bonus. Alright, how are we feeling? After a turn of... Why can I not select my army here? Give me guys. I can select Raknik. Okay. There we go. Okay, his army's looking pretty strong, actually. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pass him this unit of Black Orcs that I recruited. These guys are for you. And then we're going to have Ozhag lead a battle against this Chaos army. We're just going to run these dudes off, because I don't want to deal with them anymore. Okay. I'll take the auto-resolve on that. My bet is that in this case, the auto-resolve outperforms what we would have gotten from a manual resolve. I bet we would have lost more dudes here. And we could ransom them off. I don't know who's paying this ransom, but that's a fair amount of money. I'll take that. So, nice, easy battle. We didn't get any we didn't get any reputation for that at all. Battles are too small. You gotta actually try. You have to risk something. Alright, so what do we want to pick up next? This is a pretty significant buff. It's a little bit awkward against dwarves who have a natural resistance to magic damage, but it'll be real good against everybody else. Yeah, you know what? Let's take Fists of Gork. 24 melee attack also is very significant. So here's the awkwardness of what's going on up here. We can't attack Prague while the Varg are sieging it. We'd have to push through them to get to it. So in a sense, they're kind of just protecting it right now, while they stand there and build their siege towers and stuff. And we have no guarantee that they'll actually destroy it. Makes it a little hard to know what we should do here, because it's entirely possible. The AI does this all the time. It's entirely possible they will just back off for no reason at all after sieging it for several turns. And obviously I don't want to leave a bunch of guys up here just waiting for them to get out of the way. I don't really want to go to war with them either. They're as strong as we are. And we don't need an additional enemy. We're going to be at war with Reichland soon enough. Yeah, I'm a little torn on this one. I think what we're going to do for right now... Prague has a 16-unit garrison. I guess if we were going to try to take Prague, we would want to have both armies go for it, just to make it as easy and fast and safe as possible. Yeah, I'm torn. Let's get a defensive structure up here, and then I think we're going to build a shaman's hut. You can see the shaman's hut provides that untainted corruption that we're looking for. As long as we're in an area that's going to be near chaos and vampire forces a lot, we probably want this. We also really want a shaman's hut in Beckhofen, and we will build it as soon as that finishes. Let's get these finished up. What else did we want to make in Essen? Oh, right. Another beast lair. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. So, I'm going to move both of our armies up to the edge of the province here. Let's try to remain on this side for the healing. And actually, I'm going to... Ooh, am I going to turn off extortion? I was going to say we could turn off extortion and put these both these armies in raiding camp mode for extra healing, but we're just barely making money and we don't have a lot to spare. So the vampires took Kappelberg, which is a little bit inconvenient for me. What's that province? Talabheim. Okay, so it's like a bunch of stuff south of the river. Yeah, Kemperbad and Krugenheim and... okay. That's not so bad. That could be okay, as long as we're allowed to take this stuff. Because we need a path to the west, obviously. Sometimes it can be very frustrating when your allies take land that you wanted, because there's no way to, like, trade territory with them. The only way you can get territory from someone is either killing them and taking it, or via confederation. And you can only confederate with other people who are of your same faction. You know what I am actually really curious about? We're going to use this goblin to go scouting the coast over here. There's a valuable port at the end of this bay. We should check out what the deal is with that, see if it might be available to us. I'm not sure if we would make a lot of money off of having a port. You know, the idea that ports are valuable comes from the idea that you would use them for trade, which I think is not really a thing that greenskins do. So I guess we'll see. We might not be able to actually build a money-making building in a port. And we could at least launch our own ships from the port and then raid other people's trade ships. That was a Skaven clan that just left Fort... a Skaven army that just left Fort Ostrox, so... that's probably not actually empty. That's probably Clan Mulder right there. Verifying that is not my top priority. Okay, so Ehrengrad, the super valuable port, is held by Reichland at the moment, although it looks like maybe not for very long. So how do we want to do this? We could declare war on the Varg, just kill them, and then take Prague. Tribesmen, gather! They have a great big war mammoth, a bunch of marauders. Marauders are not a huge danger for us. You can see their melee stats are like basically fine, but they're also pretty much naked. These marauder champions, on the other hand, are better fighters, and they remembered to bring their equipment. How many more turns do we need to just sit around and heal? We can afford to take it easy for a second here. I believe if we cross the border and go into raiding mode, yeah, because of the fact that this settlement is being sieged, it's not producing any resources, and so raiding doesn't get us anything. I am going to do this, though. I'm going to do this thing where I put them into camp mode just to get the extra replenishment. Alright, public order is fine. It'll be fine. We probably don't want to perform a lot of hero actions right now, because we can't really afford to. Let's keep using our heroes as scouts. I really want to finish Kislev so that we can devote our attention to the south in a more serious and sustained way. We do need to go grab Fort Chakova again. I'm not too worried about that, losing that opportunity. I wish we could have Zavostra too. I'd really like to hold the whole province. Oh, also, we should just do a real quick check here. We're +2 public order or obedience there, +2 there, and +4 there. I mean, this is definitely helping. The fact that we're in the high reputation area here. We can afford to sit for another turn or two while we wait for replenishment. I'm really hopeful that Surtha Ek will either actually attack Prague or run off. If he does neither of those things, if he chooses to just sit around accomplishing nothing, which the AI does love to do, then we are going to be in a situation. Is the Varg's turn passed already yet? I don't know where they are on the... Nope, there it was. They attacked Prague, and it looks like they lost. But, good news for us, now the walls of Prague are available to us, and probably Prague's garrison is all screwed up from the battle. So let's go and take it. And when I say take it, what I probably mean is just burn it to the ground. I don't know that I necessarily want to hold that. Alright, so we have to take all 4 of the things in the previous box to unlock Darkest Nimbus. Well, let's do it then. Melee defense, speed, and missile strength up for a lot of the kinds of units. Vanguard deployment for all Orc and Brigands infantry and cavalry units. That's interesting. You just start right on top of the enemy. And then Wild Abandon is a big buff to his offensive capabilities. Alright, I think let's start with Earth-Shaking Orders. We definitely want all that stuff real quickly, though. Alright, you guys into normal stances. Let's go get the thing. If we take Prague, we won't be able to have the whole province. I think I'm going to burn down Prague and try to convince the Blue Vipers to take it over. Or we'll leave it for the Blue Vipers. Because if they want to hold a province to the north that can serve as a bulkhead against, or a bulwark rather, against the incoming Chaos armies, that's actually probably really good for us. And I don't think Prague itself is all that valuable. So we're going to sack it. Oh hey, questing. Remember questing? As Azhag's mob picks over the corpse-strewn scene of their latest victory, the shaman suddenly goes rigid, his eyes bulging and glassy as he enters another trance. In a dreamy voice, he says that Gork and Mork are pleased that Azhag has stopped mucking about and got stuck into the fighting. Because that's how Gork and Mork are always talking. They'll overlook his wearing of the Hume Necromancer's crown, for now. The shaman declares that Azhag just needs one final bloodbath, one more bout of carnage, and the Great Green will enter his armor and make it properly hard, which... Again, the capitalization in the middle of the words, this stuff is subtly wrong in much the same way as terrifying David. The crown whispers something about the south, someplace in Bretonnia. Azhag orders one of the lads to take a look-see, so that is probably going to be a job for Gouger. The Castle Carcassonne, the region that we need to move to, is over here. So where's Gouger right now? You need to go on a little bit of a pilgrimage for me, friend. Yeah, this is gonna be a walk. It's like down here. Yep, hereabouts. Yep. And you... Scout this stuff out. Show me the Skaven settlement. How built up are these things? It looks like Zoishenk is... Okay, it's max rank. It doesn't have a defensive structure. So he doesn't have the bonus garrison, but we might get along with Clan Molder. They don't like, never mind, they don't like me very much. The only thing that we've done that they think is fun is the battle against Kislev. They didn't really care about the other people around us, and they don't like the Blue Vipers. Well, oh, also, note the hero actions against Clan Molder line. The Skaven don't like it when you reveal their settlements to yourself, so that's a little inconvenient for us as well. Alright, am I allowed to... I'm not allowed to do this. Yeah, I could occupy this, but I can't burn it down right now. What about you? You didn't lead that other attack, but you were involved in it. Okay. We'll burn it down next turn. That's fine. Right now, just spend some time raiding. And we have 37,000 gold again. Spend it quickly. What could we build in Karak Raziak that would be helpful? Oh, you know what we could do? Is we could build this recruitment building that maxes out at tier 3. I think that's pretty reasonable. And then over here we have some slots open. Nashrak's Lair. Nashrak's Lair could take on some raid and stashes. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And then Khazid Urkala's probably doesn't need that sort of thing, and it probably also doesn't need defensive buildings. So, I wish we had more money-making structures. Honestly, it might be right to just build raid and stashes in all of these slots that we're not quite sure what to do with, because they do have some faction-wide income benefits. They're small, but it's not nothing. And I don't know that there's anything else we could build in that settlement that would actually be worthwhile. I guess we could build muster fields just to have an easy melee recruitment thing here. Like, we wouldn't be able to recruit Black Orcs from it, but we probably don't need to. As the question is, would we want to build muster fields in Karak Kadrin? Because if so, this is kind of a waste. But in Karak Kadrin, we probably... Yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing to do. This will allow us to recruit Biggins, at least, in Karak Kadrin, and I think we want the slots in Karak Kadrin for purple buildings. And then you should finish researching Itchy Nuisance, because it seems pretty good. Alright, so let's do one more turn here, because I want to actually kill Kislev. And then the next WOG is approaching. We have to figure out who we're going to target. We could go after Clan Molder, I suppose. If it looks like they're going to be a problem, we're right next to him. We also have a quest battle that we need to teleport to once the Kislev thing is resolved here. And we get Azheg's army back to full health. We should probably do that quest battle. We don't know what the benefit is for successfully wogging Skaven. Apparently, Kislev started to recruit a small army on their turn, and then unfortunately for them, the Blue Vipers go after they do. So the Blue Vipers were able to immediately attack it. Alright, I am not going to help the Bloody Spears right now. I'm very busy. Also, for some reason, it seems like they just recruited a huge number of heroes. I guess they were thinking they were going to build an army that way. Alright, you get in there and burn this to the ground. And Azheg can finish the job over here. Okay, Kislev properly destroyed. Another objective completed. And hopefully the Vipers will take this over quickly, because I really don't want that sitting empty for very long. Probably the next one is Wild Abandon. You know what? Let's take this. So we haven't talked too much about enemy siege holdout time. When you siege an enemy city, after a certain number of turns, all of the defenders in the city start taking attrition damage. And a certain number of turns after that, they just completely give up. This represents that, like, they haven't been able to get new food inside the walls in a long time. Reducing the amount of time, reducing the enemy siege holdout time is probably not super important for us, because it's very rarely the case that you want to have an army sit in place for long enough for it to be relevant even with the reduced time. It's just, it's too much sitting around. The game is too fast-paced. But, who knows? Maybe it'll come up. That is not the reason that we took that. Let's have Rachnik grab Itchy Nuisance, since we've decided that it is great, and he can master it with a single point, because he is a great shaman. Most shamans, they're fine. This one, pretty great. Okay, so we are at 95 rep. It's going to be time, like, real soon. And we're probably going to be able to go back to full here with Azhag with only a single turn of raiding. Can you get over here and show me what's in Fort Ostrak? I mean, surprise, it's Clan Mulder, but, like, what exactly are we looking at? Okay, it's a major settlement, so it has free walls. They have some basic recruitment stuff, money-making. They don't have any defensive structures at Fort Ostrak. So that's pretty good for us. Oh, we should cap out steel technology, because that is a thing that we are totally still going to use. I'm going to walk across the border here, perhaps unwisely. I'm going to start some crap with Clan Mulder. And actually, us messing with Clan Mulder is going to give us more reputation with these guys. I would love military access. So military access means that we can move through their territory without them getting mad at us, which is a thing that might end up mattering. Do I want to take a defensive alliance with them? As the question is, do I think that there's a chance that somebody will declare war on them and drag me into a whole thing I don't really want to be a part of? The benefits of the defensive alliance are that anyone that declares war on me automatically declares war on them and vice versa, so like that could be useful for when Reichland declares on us, which will happen. And also, allied forces can reinforce each other in battle. And you can heal in allied territory as though it was your own. It's pretty significant. I think we want it with them. Oh, they're not quite interested yet. Well, what about just the military access? Alright. We'll have to trend a little higher. Obviously, we'll be fine here. But yeah, this faction of Savage Orcs maybe showed up at exactly the moment we needed them to. I think they're going to be really good allies, actually. Alright, let's make sure Kislev is defended. We'll probably have Rachnik run south and grab Fort Jakova before coming back north. Maybe. Give me even more untainted. My primary concern this far north is not the vampire corruption, but rather the chaos corruption that's going to leak from the north. And then Legbiter. You know, what I really appreciate is his dedication to his deal. When we select him, he's like, stabbing stuff. And then you tell him to move, and he's like, when I get there, I'm going to stab somebody. Just so we're all clear on what's happening here. Do we want to start in on this line? Like, we don't need Oglok himself right now, but unlocking him would get us access to Beyond Countin, which is awesome. Sharonus Karen, which is extremely awesome. Yeah, we're going that way. That's a good way of using 5,000 gold. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of world out here that we are not yet ready to interact with. Like I said, the Mortal Empires map, it's large. There's a lot of stuff happening on it. All right, let's run one more sequence of enemy turns, and we'll call it at the beginning of our next turn. I'm pretty happy with the way things went here, though. We scratched another big objective off of our list. Our armies feel powerful, although Rachnik's army is a little bit off theme. I'd like to, maybe when we recruit a third army, we can swap some stuff around, and I'm talking about something in the relatively distant future now, I guess, but I would like his army to be more spidery. Okay, cool, they took Prague, great. I don't want that, I just don't want the rats to have it. Sometimes AI factions are like really weird about taking over territory. Do we want... I don't think we need the 3,000 gold, and we certainly don't want all this extra corruption in our lands right now. Refusing him will give us 2 points of Untainted everywhere for 5 turns. Let's definitely take that. And the raging sea god Stromfels has gone missing, perhaps blown too far south by the arcane tempest that is consuming the world. It is one of only 7 things that is consuming the world. With his absence, the great ocean is becalmed. The denizens of this world sense an opportunity. It is now no longer for the elves to dominate the seas alone. Other powers seek to ply the oceans, hunt for treasures, and expand their empires abroad. However, they must not mistake a calm sea for a safe one. There are still countless dangers lurking in the deeps. So all major port owners have become known to each other, not super relevant to me. Would you guys, at this point, consider... Oh, they would love a defensive alliance, thank you. I don't want a military alliance with them. A military alliance would mean that anytime they declare war on somebody, I get dragged into it, and that If you give a military alliance to an AI faction, they start to make some real goofy decisions, assuming that you will have their back, and they will get you into trouble. These guys were not trending north anymore, and I would love a defensive alliance with them too. Actually, it looks like they're almost dead. They have 3 settlements, so we can't see the others, but the Reichlanders are getting all up in their stuff. We might have to get down here and play some defense for our buddies. The thing is, I don't want to do the next WOG against the Reichland because there's no chance that we will have their capital by the end of the thing, because it's all the way over here in Altdorf. Also, out of curiosity, Clan Mulder is currently strength rank 55. Oh, that's a shame. We get a bonus if they're in the top 50, right? If we WOG against somebody who's in the top 50. Maybe it'd be better to do it against Ostland. Ostland only has 2 territories. I don't know where the other one is. It's probably north of the mountains here. I don't know. We'll see. This is not a decision I have to make right now. What I have to do right now is press this button. It lets us all know that, sadly, for today we are out of time. But when you come back next time, tomorrow, I don't even know whose blood we're going to spill, but we're going to spill a lot of blood. Because it's kind of like an undirected urge for violence. We will figure it out. And we'll see you then.